Hey guys, JB here from Alpha Wolf Consulting, coming to you today with the next lecture in applied psychological engineering. And this lecture will continue on from yesterday, where we were understanding emotional state management and biochemical states. So we understood how to basically set our intention for our emotional state and then regulate that emotional state, as that emotional state is the recipe for the biochemical state that we want our body to be in. And now, what we're going to look at is a deeper look into understanding traumatic memory association and traumatic emotional attachment and traumatic emotional association and things like that. So, we're understanding yesterday that we understood the framework for emotional state management. And now this is a deeper practice into now we're going in and removing the negative emotional association to anything that triggers a negative emotional response. And we're replacing it with an empowered one that auto corrects or re regulates our alignment back to the standard deviation. Do you sort of get it? So, like, for example, if um, I have PTSD and being out in public or in crowded places causes me to feel anxiety or a heightened stress response. I'm simply not trying to alter the behavior of the stress response because that has been triggered in. Do you sort of get it? Like, for example, a heightened stress response in terms of PTSD is a heightened state of awareness, a heightened state of observation, a heightened state of readiness, and sort of like a heightened state of threat or threat analysis. So it's not to say that it's a negative thing, but it's if it's eliciting negative emotions of fear response or not feeling safe or feeling like there is a threat I don't see or something coming behind me, sort of like paranoia, where I'm thinking someone's coming for me. Do you sort of get it? Like they're negative because if I allow myself to go down any one of those paths, it always leads to a negative outcome. So if I let myself go down the path of paranoia, I become paranoid. And then I can, through paranoia, create paranoid schizophrenia or paranoid induced schizophrenia or states of schizophrenia, to where I create such a heightened state of stress or fear of stress or a psychological state of stress to where I develop or mirror as a coping mechanism schizophrenic tendencies or behavioral patterns. Do you sort of get it? I'm always so stressed, so I start to talk to myself and then convince myself I'm hearing voices from other people. Do you sort of get it? So, like, we just understand, like, when we're talking about the negative emotions, like, we're just removing them because like, we don't want that behavior of me feeling a heightened state of alertness to be associated with paranoia because it's not a good mixture. Do you sort of get it? Like, I want it to be associated to situational awareness so that when I feel that instinctual or biochemical response of PTSD, the heightened state of stress, like I become aware of my environment and situation and then determine. Do you sort of get it? Because it's an unconscious response. Like, do you get it? So, like, you've consciously trained yourself to be at like highly alert and observant at like in high stress situations, but you also unconsciously did. So, like, it's not like if you're getting triggered by things, like logically, there is environmental stimuli that would be triggering it. It's just understanding consciously that you've trained your unconscious mind to, in very specific, like sort of situations. So, like, for example, one of them might be when people are behind you. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I'm in a shopping center, there's people all around me. I'm only really aware of where I'm looking at. Do you sort of get it? So, of course, I'm going to be in a heightened stress situation if I've trained myself, in an environment where I needed to be observant of all sectors of, the 360 degrees because my survival, like, do you sort of get it? So, like, the biochemical response of the PTSD is not a negative thing. The negative thing is the emotional association or the emotional trauma that is associated to it because emotions are within the unconscious mind. So there's no logic or reason to, if I experience like the fear of, the experiences I went through in this moment, like there's no logic or reason that separates this moment from the moments of high stress or from the moments of trauma. Do you sort of get it? There's nothing that says this moment right now isn't as traumatic as that moment. And that's how we bring along the PTSD trauma, where I'm reliving the event, but I'm not disassociating between now and then. So what happens is I'm reliving the event as it is happening to me again and again and again. Do you sort of get it? So I'm going through the exact same emotional experience. And that's sort of what happens when you have these sort of, I don't know what they're called, if they're PTSD hallucination or something like that, to where the memory response is so vivid and so real that it overrides like the conscious mind's perception of reality, to where people claim, or not so much claim, but people say they see like threats. Do you know what I mean? So, like people from Vietnam, because they had to fight in jungles and with jungle warfare and guerrilla tactics, like they were getting attacked at night from the jungles. So, like in their bedroom at night when they were trying to sleep, like if if they went into a memory association with the jungles, if they got pulled into it, like their mind couldn't separate between this bedroom and the jungle. Like literally, it can be that powerful that it overrides the olfactory like system or your sense of smell, to where you literally start smelling gunpowder, where you smell like the must of, another man or an enemy. Like it depends on how traumatic like how traumatic that memory is for you. So trauma is meaning, or my metric for the meaning of my survival. Do you sort of get it? So if I see something as not being traumatic, like it's quite easy for me to survive it. If I see something as being traumatic to me, that means it holds high weight or threat over my life. My survival depends on the outcome of this. Do you sort of get it? So the emotional meaning that I put to the memory association, if it's a unconscious fear response, do you sort of get it, is a high level of emotional meaning that elicits the emotional state or biochemical state of fear. Do you sort of get it? So, like, to the level of the trauma of the memory equals the sort of biochemical response or intensity of the biochemical response and emotional response. Because emotional states are, or emotions are meaning. So em, like if you think about it, like if something makes you happy, like what is like makes you happy? Like It holds a meaning that this activity elicits this biochemical state and emotional state within me. Do you sort of get it? Or it could even be conscious state as well, like thoughts and beliefs and all of that. So then we think on the negative side of something, something being sort of traumatic, okay, is going to hold high weight over me surviving as I am. Do you sort of get it? So when I'm creating trauma to anything that I do, like my brain is saying, this information or this knowledge or this memory or this association holds such relevance to these specific situations or trigger points. That's why things like, for example, um, like you can take Vietnam veterans again, because it was such a helicopter dominated war and they were doing helicopter insertions and things like that. The sound of news helicopters going over cities invoke in some people like memory responses that are really vivid to where they hear and feel and they replay whole, days in minutes. Do you sort of get it? They re-experience times in minutes because the sound was so dominant and present throughout the entire experience that the sound became their brain's sort of like highest trigger to the memory association. So like for example, if someone had highly traumatic experiences over there, which most of them did, like that memory of that experience now holds all like the sum total of all of the negative emotional weight of the entirety of that experience in that memory of that day. So if you were there for 6 to 12 months, it's 6 to 12 months of negative emotion and memory, but you're experiencing it within the time frame of one day experienced through, maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes of memory retention. So it's this overwhelming experience of the emotional state of whatever the trauma or the experience was. And that's why it can have such a sort of strong traumatic pull to where it can take people to crying and breaking down just hearing a helicopter. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if you think about this, think about it like you have your reticular activation system, which is a bunch of glands that is used by the brain and has evolved and developed within the brain to identify things that are important to me and to sort of associate or memorize them, but also to become hyper aware of them. So, like water sources, food sources, sources of safety. Do you sort of get it? So, like our unconscious mind doesn't have logic or reason. Our unconscious mind can't separate between like positive because it's the exact same behavioral pattern. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if you think about it in terms of evolutionary, when I find a water source, when I find a food source, when I find a source of safety or shelter, my brain memorizes or associates all of those memories to that emotional feeling of it. So if I'm finding a safe place, it's the emotional feeling of safety. This feels safety. So whenever I want to feel safe, the memory of how to get to safety is accessed. Do you sort of get it? This is how memory association links to emotional states that like I might feel danger and I need to and I have a need or a feeling to feel safety. So it is really important for my mind to know where is safe. But for me to like not compartmentalize, but for me to basically be able to operate without consciously having to know the exact path to safety in every moment. Like my brain has to be able to put down actions, but have them linked to triggers that initiate them. So when I feel like the fear of threat or danger, or I feel lack of safety, like that triggers my brain to seek safety. Do you sort of get it? When I feel dehydrated, that triggers my brain. Do you sort of get it? To like look for water. When I feel hungry, it triggers my brain to look for um, like food. But when it triggers my brain to look for food, what it does is it becomes then hypersensitive to what I'm looking for in my environment. So this can do one or two things. One thing, it can do confirmation bias. If I look for the negative in life, all I see is the negative. If I look for the positive in life, all I see is the positive. Do you sort of get it? It's not that I'm ignorant to the opposite. It's that I have a higher propensity or a higher proportionality to observing and recognizing importance in if I'm looking for negative in negative, if I'm looking for positive in positive. It's all associated meaning, hierarchies of meaning. Do you sort of get it? Because we remember, like, we're just translating a conscious thought into an emotional state, and it goes through psychological structure, hierarchy of meaning links to the memory association or the meaning behind the memory or the meaning of the memory, and the meaning of the memory is linked to the emotional meaning of that memory. So what that memory meant to me. It's why we can have completely different experiences or create completely different meanings from the exact same environment or situation just by having different perspectives. Because if, for example, if you're at a listening to a politician and you're conservative on the right and someone else is democratic on the left, you are going to interpret the conversation and the actions of that person completely different to the person on the left. Like, and it's not that you're seeing the truth and the person on the left isn't seeing the truth. It's that you both see the truth, but your confirmation bias or ego is creating confirmation bias in what you're looking for. So you stop looking further. That's why left and right, both egotistically, do you sort of get it? Like, it's why people can't agree because they become too entrenched in the identity of the external. Do you sort of get it? And they lose the ability to flow within the internal. Do you sort of get it? That left or right, like they're just two different perspectives based within two different sets of variables of hierarchies of meaning. So I'm setting that, for example, if I'm conservative, you know, like I'm going to be more focused on limiting spending and then increasing business through the lowering of taxes for businesses and the lowering of legislation. Do you sort of get it? But it's like if I'm democratic and I'm looking at it, well, then I'm looking at it through a democratic lens where I'm looking at equality and equal share. So I'm more focused on, taxing more to those earning proportionately higher than others. Do you sort of get it? So that they can pay an equal share in relation to like others. So not others as others' capacity, but others as individuals. It's sort of like libertarianism, like individuality. Do you sort of get it? Neither one of those is right because they're just two different ways of seeing the exact same problem or situation. Do you sort of get it? So when we merge them together, we understand that if we minimize business expenditure, like or the tax to business, okay, to individual business or corporate business. We lower business tax, okay, and then basically we lower regulation or legislation around the ability and ease of business to do business within the environment. Do you sort of get it? And we understand, instead of seeing the economy as an economy of competition, we see collaboration. So businesses, like we're deregulating the economy to increase collaboration and working together and sort of make business easier over limiting the liabilities of business and the responsibilities of business. Do you sort of get it? We're not trying to take away regulation that protects consumers. That's egotistical. Do you sort of get it? But then when we understand the libertarian viewpoint of equality of individual, do you sort of get it? That business is separated from the individual. Do you sort of get it? So, like, all individuals are equal. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I only have the capacity to make $50,000 a year, just because I only have the capacity to make $50,000 a year doesn't mean that you shouldn't have to equally contribute, like the same amount that I have to contribute in my sort of limitation or restriction of my quality of life. Do you sort of get it? Like, if I'm having to give up 20%, 18% of my pay to, the country, well, if you're making, 90 billion dollars a year or $1 million a year, well, shouldn't you have to give that amount of your income as well? And the downside is that they then see it as disproportionate, like leverage. So it's like, I want it to be equal, but then I want you to pay more than me. Like, do you get it? So not more than me proportionately, but then I want you to pay 40, 50% tax because you're earning more. And that's where it starts to get messy. Do you sort of get it? Where it's, if we're all putting up, say, 25%, irrespective of income, do you sort of get it? And then it's sort of like, you know, the downside to that is then you're seeing that a person who makes $1 million a year and a person who makes, like, you're seeing the disproportionate um sort of like outcome due to the industry, product, service, or business that they're in. Do you sort of get it? So it's like, if you want the truly libertarian ideals, like, you have to accept that, like, if you get lucky and are in something that is like high ticket or high income, like, that's that. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, everyone doesn't have to earn, in a libertarian belief structure, everyone doesn't have to earn equal, like the equal amount. Do you sort of get it? That's where their beliefs conflict, because they want to be libertarian um, capitalists, but capitalist is about, like capitalist is about maximizing capital. Like, do you sort of get it? So, like, I'm incentivizing myself to pursue a disproportionate amount of capital to others. Like, that's capitalism. Like, do you sort of get it? Because the more resources I have, the more options or opportunity I have within the economy. Do you sort of get it? So it incentivizes people to hold additional wealth or extra wealth because it gives them leverage over others in the economy. So, like, if you wanted to do the true libertarian of equal, it's just everything's equal, everything costs the same, irrespective of if it saves your life or if it's a funny video online. Do you sort of get it? Like, because you can't say that an artist is any different than a doctor. Now, this isn't saying that like we're not saying that their functions aren't different, but like if you're saying a doctor is more important than an artist or this or that, do you sort of get it? Because libertarian is based in the principles of equality. Everyone is equal. Do you sort of get it? And this is where Democrats go wrong. Because how can everyone be equal when you still have hierarchies and structures? Do you sort of get it? If everything is equal, eating at a like amazing restaurant and eating at a shit restaurant should cost the exact same. Like, do you sort of get it? And then it is like your personal preference to the restaurant that dictates you going there, not price manipulation dictating and manipulating your behavior. Do you sort of get it? If everything costs the same, would you choose McDonald's? Would you choose a restaurant? Would you like, do you sort of get it? Like, so it's not saying that everything costs McDonald's, like everything just costs the same price. So like if society decided that $50 for a meal was the price and they regulated the price at $50 a meal, like all restaurants had to charge $50 a meal. Do you sort of get it? If it costs you $50 in produce, if it doesn't, like it's irrespective. So like the way libertarian works is equality, but it's also like it's sort of how to say it, but basically, like if you're incentivized to make it better, to make it cheaper, to charge that $50 for the food, but have it cost you or have your profit margins where you want them to be so that you can live the life that feels good to you. So where it's not so much about like this is where it gets really weird with politics because you have all these conflicting belief structures. Like, do you sort of get it? Because like in libertarianism, like and all of that, like essentially you would be and it's really important why we're understanding this because, like, when we're understanding emotions, it's the exact same. Do you sort of get it? That, like, how I structure things and how I set things up in terms of my belief structures, like these political points of conservative or libertarianism or whatever, Democrat, like these are just categories of compartmentalization of, you know, belief, like collections of beliefs, systems, and structures. So essentially, you're labeling libertarianism, conservatism, and you're just saying this label is associated to these or this cachet of these different belief structures. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, what do you think your mind does? Like, do you think your mind operates differently with traumatic emotions, with traumatic memory? This memory is linked to all of these different like meanings and things like that. Do you sort of get it? So, like, what I'm saying with the libertarianism is, and with this example, is that, like, if you're outside of alignment of the internal belief structure and then you're trying to argue against it, do you sort of get it? like if you're unable to see that, like, a traumatic experience that elicits a primal fear response out of you is simply just a memory association and a sort of emotional state that has been conditioned in through behavioral conditioning of experiencing it again and again and again and again and again. Okay. Behavioral association, being in those environments shape and condition us. And then in understanding behavioral association conditioning, how actions within specific environments can condition and trigger states of mind. Do you sort of get it? So it's really important that we understand, like, if I have a traumatic, like, for example, like PTSD, if I have a traumatic experience that, like, for example, going out in large crowds triggers me back into that traumatic experience, like, I'm not a slave to that. Do you sort of get it? Like, if that if that memory or if that environmental stimuli or if that situation triggers a positive or a negative emotion, like, who's determining it? Do you sort of get it? So, like, am I choosing what I want it to trigger to, or am I allowing it to just repeat whatever it wants to repeat, and I'm sort of at the mercy of it? Do you get it? So one way will have me reactive to it, and one way I can proactively deal with situations prior to experiencing them. So that when I experience them for the first time, in truth, this is my thousandth time through. It's exactly as I expected because I have, worked through every dimension of that emotion or that trauma of that experience. And I've translated and transmuted the biochemical response and the emotional responses to now elicit emotions and memories of empowerment so that I am artificially empowering myself into a state of empowerment. I'm putting myself in a state of empowerment. Do you sort of get it? So, like, think about this in terms of self doubt. So, like, I'm taking a thought or a memory that creates the belief of self doubt or the feeling of doubt within myself. Whenever that memory is triggered by my environment, instead of me allowing myself to feel self doubt and to experience self doubt, I am artificially overriding it with language patterns, with belief structures, with um, new memories and things like that. And I am physically saying to myself, no, you can do this. So that every time, like, the environment triggers doubt within me, my unconscious mind, like, picks it up and brings it back up to the standard deviation of self-belief. Do you sort of get it? So I'm just linking these, like, if you think about it, if we're thinking about traumatic emotions and things like that and memory, like, no matter how hard you try, if you believe something is traumatic, it will always be traumatic. You will never forget it. Do you sort of get it? It's why, like, we remember all the stupid things that we do wrong. All the mistakes that we've made, they play on repeat and we can never let go or forget about them because, like, if the emotional belief and the emotional meaning is so strong, like, we believe it's really important to us. Do you sort of get it? Our unconscious mind doesn't have access to logic and reason. So our unconscious mind can't self-regulate and say, this means nothing, this means everything. Like, do you sort of get it? It's based on the environmental stimuli and the emotional state. So whatever emotional state you allow to be present will be like what your unconscious mind believes is the emotional state that is associated to this memory, situation, or environment. Do you sort of get it? If you always act within fear and hold a fear response when someone threatens to hit you or pretends to hit you, like you're conditioning your unconscious mind to when the environment, someone threatens to hit you, you're about to get hit. Like, do you sort of get it? So, like, it's pretty important to understand this because, like, you're training yourself to then becoming hyper vigilant of environmental stimuli creating a situational outcome that you don't want, but you're the only one creating it as a possibility. Do you sort of get it? Rather than me worrying about someone hitting me, if I see signs that someone's emotionally unstable or volatile, like I'm going to automatically start distancing myself from them because being around emotionally unstable or volatile people, like it always leads to violence or it always leads to, someone losing their cool because that's what emotional instability and volatility means. Like, do you sort of get it? So, like, I don't have to sit there and try and predict when they're going to blow once I notice the behavior and the marker, like I just act in accordance. Do you sort of get it? I re-engineer the meaning, the emotional meaning, the memory. Do you get it? So what we're understanding with this is there's two things we have to do. So one is that I have to choose the emotional state that I want to feel for the traumatic memory. So, like, for example, let's say someone threatened to kill me because that's what they did to me. So, like the fear of death and the fear of like threat and all of that, like that naturally creates like a fear response, and the fear, like the response or the belief of death and like the emotional fear of like lack of safety and things like that. So rather than the threat of violence or threat of death creating all these unconscious emotional states and emotional meanings of death and violence and all of this, like we're simply letting go to them and now we're overriding with a new emotion. Do you sort of get it? So, like, rather than it meaning threat of violence, like when someone's like threatening me or threatening me with violence, like evidently, like they think violence is the option. Like, do you sort of get it? Like it's their behavior. Like they're not, like there's no threat to me, but the actions they're willing to initiate. Like, do you get it? So it's like, how do I, like, as soon as I identify a threat of violence or a threat to me, how do I overcome that? Or how do I elicit a different response? So, one would be that I can broadcast alternate. So, like, I can broadcast peace. Do you sort of get it? So, like, think of like Dalai Lama and things like that, and Buddhist monks. Do you sort of get it? Like non-violence, peace. Like, no matter how you act or respond or what you say or do in the environment, I am going to remain at peace and non-violent. Do you sort of get it? So, like, I'm overriding any of the unconscious sort of behaviors and I'm simply putting in what I want. Do you sort of get it? And then I'm building it up to be everything that I want. So the second stage is us understanding retrospection. Okay. And this is a practice that I created. And it's basically just looking back, sitting within the yoga niche, well, not yet. Well, Yoga Nidra and Psyche positioning or full brain activation positioning, but it's how to not only look back and re-experience or experience emotion or memory or past trauma or past situations, but it's also a way in which you can experience and expand your personal or yeah, your personal perceived experience of the emotion. So if you're thinking about like I'm replacing the traumatic response or the fear response with a response of love, like just to the same that fear response has many different shades or triggers or variations for it triggering, like my love has to have that. Do you sort of get it? So, like, I need to know every shade of my love. Do you sort of get it? If I'm doing joy, I need to know every shade of joy. If I'm doing peace or inner peace, I need to know every shade of peace. So, an easy way to think about it is think about I'm trying to become a warrior in a garden. I'm trying to become inner peace, like within myself, no matter the environment. Do you sort of get it? So, like, how do I achieve that? Is by in every environment, I have to achieve inner peace within myself. Like, do you sort of get it? So the reason the warrior in the garden is at peace is because it took 1,000 attempts to find the garden. So I know every other emotional state. So when I say I'm at peace, I know I'm at peace. It's not a mystery. Do you get it? So I have to map every sort of shade or aspect or dimension of the emotional state so that if I say that I feel love, like I know exactly what kind of love it is. Do you sort of get it? So it's not unknown. But I'm not going out there and buying a book on love and defining it by that. Like I create it myself. Do you sort of get it? Because it's just internal meaning. Like you're just associating the biochemical stimuli or sensation to the emotional state and then logically naming it. Do you sort of get it? So that when I say, the love of another, I know exactly what that love emotionally means but also what it feels like. And I know the memories that are associated to it. So they all play in alignment. It's not mix match. Do you sort of get it? So I'm not thinking about the love of another and then being flooded with all of the thoughts of how people fucked me over. Do you sort of get it? Because if I'm being flooded with the thoughts of how people fuck me over, now I'm perverting this frequency of love of another or this emotional state or, you know, biochemical state. And now I'm introducing stress hormones or cortisol through, re experiencing high stress or situations that cause stress. Do you sort of get it? So I have to let go to those situations. So on the other side of this practice, when we're letting go to negative emotions or the trauma behind negative emotions, I have to experience every shade of that negative emotion. So essentially, I have to drag myself to the bottom and then go below the bottom so that I know when I build the foundation up, like you're not going to be able to take me any lower than this. Do you sort of get it? So you're not able to destroy my foundation by taking the ground out from underneath me. There's nowhere further down to go. We're at the bottom of the bottom. Do you sort of get it? So like if I'm in emotional or have emotional trauma around breakups or cheating, like people cheating on me or something like that, like I have to take myself to the bottom of that so that if someone ever cheats on me again, I'll never experience it being as bad as how I experienced it. Like, do you sort of get it? I can perceive far worse than what you can do to me. Do you know what I mean? When my mind is sort of unconsciously in a fear response, it can run wild and I can imagine every possibility, all the worst possibilities. Do you sort of get it? So the fear response of someone cheating on me is me like fearing or create or that sort of idea or that belief of someone cheating on me creating a fear response and then my mind running wild. Do you sort of get it? Showing me everything that could happen, that might happen, that probably won't happen. Do you sort of get it? That isn't even theoretically possible of happening. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, so, like, if I'm allowing that to go, like, all I'm doing is every time I'm focusing in on that memory and having that fear response run, I'm strengthening that associational bond, which is the synaptic pathway that links the memory to the emotional state or the response. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I allow myself or am allowing myself to sort of run wild with the feelings and all of that. Like when I take myself to the depths of my own personal internal hell within me, and I take myself down to the depths of what torture means to me and what I can experience as torture in every moment. Like, do you get it? Like, that's the strongest synaptic pathway. Rather than someone controlling what is traumatic to me, I control what is traumatic to me. So I get to set all of the instances. Do you sort of get it? It's why you can't break my heart because I've already broken my heart. Like, do you sort of get it? Like, what you could do to me in a breakup is nowhere close to what I know I have done to myself and can do to myself in a breakup. Do you sort of get it? So it's like when I think of the fear of you breaking up with me or you using that vulnerability against me, like I'm just reminded of the times where I took myself to the depths of hell or to the bottom of that emotion or fear. And sort of it's like I went there willingly. Do you know what I mean? Like like I didn't get dragged down there. I chose to go down there. It's as calm as this. Like, do you get it? But if someone else is dragging me into the depths of negative emotions, well, then it's highly volatile because I didn't want to be here. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be happy. I was supposed to be this. I was supposed to be that. Do you sort of get it? So when I consciously choose to put myself through endurance and suffering, suffering and endurance holds less weight over me in the future. So you cannot use endurance or suffering as punishment to me. If you force me to walk in the desert for the rest of my life, like in the moment that I am in the desert, like this is my life. Like there's no expectation outside of this. There is no memory of other. Do you sort of get it? This is it, and we're going to find something good within it. Do you sort of get it? Because like I've already experienced like walking in the desert. Do you get it? Like if I choose to walk in the desert consciously or unconsciously, so within thought or emotional state or feeling, then what happens is that like I hold ownership over it. I set the rules. I am the governing force. If you take me and force me into walking in the desert and I have not prepared or expected for it, like, do you sort of get it? You hold all the power. I am at your service. I am at your, like, beholden to you. Like, do you get it? So, like, emotionally, psychologically, when I choose to experience or face my emotions to the fullest extent that I can, no extent another can force me to experience emotions, can get close to it because I'm able to perceive outside of reality or what is bound within reality. Do you sort of get it? So I'm able to perceive in depths deeper than they're able to conceptualize. Like, do you sort of get it? So like I don't ever feel or have a fear of someone using that emotion against me. Like, do you sort of get it? Because like no matter what they do, it's always within that limit. But when I hit rock bottom or when I bring myself to the bottom or the lowest point of that emotion, the depths of hell, like just realize like if I'm in the depths of hell and I look and there's two paths or there's two choices ahead of me, to stay in the depths of hell or to walk out of the depths of hell. Like if I choose to walk out of the depths of hell, like there is no hesitation or doubt that can ever fracture that belief. It is so strong within me. So when I, for example, in heartbreak, feel the heartbreak to the very, very bottom, and I allow myself to experience the absolute worst of that heartbreak, the worst reality, everything. And I give myself the choice. Is this my reality? Or, you know, am I going to choose different? If I choose different, if I choose to walk out of hell, like I'm never going to doubt that choice. Do you sort of get it? Like once I've been to the bottom of the bottom, there's no further to go. If I only go halfway to the bottom, there's always doubt of it could be worse. When I've been to the depths of my own personal hell. And just remember, perception and experienced reality are the same thing. My brain, my unconscious mind, which governs my emotional states, doesn't understand logical reason. So it doesn't understand the separation between my perceived experience and my lived experience. That's my conscious mind. Do you sort of get it? So, like, if I perceive myself experiencing the worst of what I can perceive, like I am experiencing the worst of what I can perceive emotionally. Like, do you get it? Because to my mind or my unconscious mind or my emotional state, like, it's just, like I was in my room one moment and now I'm somewhere else. Like it doesn't really, like it's not been keeping track. Like there's no logic or reason. This means there's no linear structure, no linear hierarchy. One and 10,000 are the same point in space and time. Do you get it? For you to be at one and for you to be at 10,000, there is no difference in like for you to be at one in emotion and 10,000 in emotion, there's no difference. Like it's your perception that creates the separation or difference. If you perceive yourself at one, 10,000 is a far, far, like it's a long way away. Like, do you get it? If you perceive yourself at 10,000, well, you're already there. Like, do you get it? Like, the way in which to travel is not through like space and time, but it is through perception, perception of reality and relativity within reality. Do you get it? So, like your perception of the emotional state that you feel becomes the emotional state that you feel. If you perceive yourself as feeling a negative emotions are what you are feeling because you have said, that is where I am. So, if you perceive yourself to be in hell when you're in the depths of hell, like you are in the depths of hell, like you're in hell. If you perceive yourself to be in heaven while you're in the depths of hell, you're in heaven. Like that's heaven. Do you get like this? Consciousness is non-linear by nature or non-physical. It means it is not bound or found within space and time. Do you get it? You can't measure a thought because a thought is a quantum state. Do you get it? You can't measure an emotion because an emotion is a quantum state. Like, do you get it? It's just an emotion is a thought, but it is not based in logic and reason because the unconscious mind doesn't have access to logic and reason. But an emotion is the link for how a thought is translated into physical reality or how the non-physical dimension of consciousness is translated into the physical dimension of form. Do you sort of get it? Your emotions and emotional states or emotions that you feel are simply the trigger for the biochemical state, but the emotions do not control anything. They're not the controller. The emotions are beholden to the memory and the memory association. Like they're two sides of the one coin. Do you get it? So your memory and your emotions, memories will always link to emotions and trigger emotions. Emotions will always link and trigger memories. If I'm happy and I'm happy this morning because something happened that was nice at work, that's always going to link to that emotional state is always going to link to all the different memories of me being happy at work. Just to the same if something negative happens at work, it'll link to every memory. Like, do you get it? So it's like it's not one or the other, but we can separate the two sides and then we can alter them and put them back together so that we're not just unconsciously reacting to environmental stimuli and we're actually consciously deciding like how we want to design our responses to different stimuli within our environment. Do you sort of get it? And your psychological structures and your hierarchies of meaning are the two sides of your conscious mind, the two sides of the coin. And they're how you physically see reality and experience reality and conceptualize and understand reality. Do you sort of get it? So, like, when you understand this, like, my emotions literally, okay, are just responsive to my intention. Do you get it? to my belief and my intention. If I believe I feel love, I feel love. If I believe I'm happy, I'm happy. If I believe I'm angry, I'm angry. If I believe I'm sad, I'm sad. Do you sort of get it? Like if I'm saying I want to be happy, but I believe I'm upset, like I can say I want to be happy all I want, but I'm not aligned. Do you sort of get it? So like my belief is just what I embody on repeat. So if I say I'm happy and then I embody the physical actions, smiling, do you know what I mean? I think positive thoughts. I feel positive emotions. I feel positive or the biochemical states of those positive emotions. Like, do you sort of get it? I am happy. So it's how long do I have to reproduce that specific behavioral pattern until my unconscious believes that I am. And that's where the advanced synaptic pathway and behavioral conditioning of the repeating of language patterns or linking psychological structures and hierarchies of meaning together to create cohesive directives to our unconscious mind. Do you sort of get it? So, like if I'm doing the full brain activation um, pose positioning and I sit there and I'm happy. Do you sort of get it? And it's like, so we need the psychological structure and the hierarchy of meaning. I want to feel happy today because it's a beautiful day. I want to feel happy today because it's a beautiful day. I want to feel happy today because it's a beautiful day. I want to feel happy today because it's a beautiful day. And I keep repeating that. Every day will be a beautiful day and I will feel happy every day because it's a beautiful day. Like, do you sort of get it? So, like, when we're understanding this, like, part of overcoming or altering the trauma is the language patterns and redefining the narrative through new language patterns of empowerment. Do you get it? So it's not that the trauma holds any weight, the trauma is just an unconscious metric of my survival instinct or my perception of threat. Do you get it? So if I believe something's traumatic, it's because I perceived a threat. If I don't believe something's traumatic, it's because I don't perceive a threat. So to remove the trauma or perceived trauma from the like psychological trigger, the emotional trigger, do you sort of get it? Or the environmental stimuli or trigger. Like I'm literally just redefining it. Like, do you get it? So I'm redefining it from this is a threat to me and was a threat to me to this is no longer a threat to me. And when I redefine it, the trauma will be redefined. Do you sort of get it? And then my perception or my viewpoint on that environmental stimuli or that emotional state will naturally alter in alignment with my perceptions. Do you sort of get it? So if my whole life I saw people bullying me as a child as being highly traumatic, and then one day I just sort of am on a tangent thinking about something, and all of a sudden I'm like, why was I worried about that? And that perception shift completely alters and overrides that complete um, trauma to all memory associated to it. Do you sort of get it? Like it's just natural processes. These practices. Do you get it? Like your brain already does this. It just does it unconsciously. We're just taking the unconscious and bringing it into the conscious. All right. Well, that one's going to end for today, and I'll see you on the next one.